It's about 7:30. Nina's awake. She is making believe that she's sleeping right now. She slept most of the night with Mommy and Daddy. I'm not sure what time she came over to the bed, but once she came over, she stayed there and she fell asleep right away, so I didn't bother moving her. But now she's here. We're going to Pops, and it's cold and snowy. And Linda's complaining about things. Is that snow? And Nina doesn't have anything to entertain her, so Mommy gave her her phone. She hasn't tried turning it on yet. She's just been content with banging on things. Look at her. That's her banging face.
I'm talking about like car mines. Thank you, George.
Here she goes.
Wow. Nina can do it.
Say bacon.
You're afraid to eat those.
We're at the supermarket now, and Nina still has egg in her mouth.
Do you want to build a snowman? Come on, let's go and play. I never see you anymore. Come out the door. It's like you've gone away. We used to be best buddies, but now we're not. I wish you would tell me why. Do you want to build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman.
Go away, Anna.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Cal just turned over for the first time he rolled. Now it could be because he had his shoulders on this pillow, but he rolled over in that direction. And when I turned around to look at him, he was face down. Didn't work.
I wish you would tell me why. Do you want to build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman. Go away, Anna. Okay, bye.
I'm in the basement because I am getting, well, because I cleaned the cat litter, but also because I'm getting my silicone caulk that I used for fixing the window about a month ago. And I accidentally got some on my jacket and it became very rubbery. And we decided that that's a good thing to do for Nina's house booties because they're nice and warm, but they're very slippery. So she's always falling down with these on. So I'm going to put it on the bottom of this and hopefully it'll have the same effect that it did on my jacket. So these are done. Just going to leave them to dry. It should take about half an hour because, well, it takes half an hour for it to become waterproof. So in half an hour it should be ready to test. I'm also down here because the 3D print is patched up. I think it's all patched up. But so that we have an even coating, once it starts to be painted, I'm going to spray paint it with some white enamel paint that will hopefully help to transition between the patches and the 3D print. So there he is. It's going to take a couple of hours for him to dry off. I think I have to do some more on the bottom of his head. But if you ever decide that you want to do something like this, make sure you're next to a window with really good ventilation. Now we've actually never tried anything like this before because we've never had to patch anything as much as we have had to patch this one before. And I'm hoping that this enamel that I'm using doesn't have acetone in it, because if it does, is actually going to melt the plastic. So the paint that I used was actually too strong and started melting the print. And now he looks a little bit like a burn victim. It is unfortunate that the print was messed up so badly, but honestly, I wasn't happy with the amount of patching that I had to do, or the thinness of the shell, or the size. I wanted it to be bigger and thicker, so I guess I'm gonna have another chance of making it the way I want. After making some changes on the 3D sculpt, and that was weird. After making some changes on the 3D sculpt and redoing all the slicing and processing on my computer, I passed the file over to my laptop, which is I'm using to run the 3D printer. And I brought the 3D printer to the second floor, and that way I don't disturb the kids or the mom with all of the noise that this is gonna make, or is making. We're starting on the foot. And it's going to be much larger than last time. This is the filament that I'm using. It's about 0.17 millimeters thick. And I'm actually going to end up using about 17 centimeters of this to make the bottom half of the sculpt. Looks like the first layer is alright. I usually worry about the first layer. Right now it's creating the first layer for the support material, which is not going to be much, but it's getting a little messy, so I'm going to have to clean that up before it continues. It seemed like I had a small blockage in the nozzle, so I cleared that up, and I also changed the temperature of the nozzle to slightly higher because I noticed it was having trouble sticking to the platform. So this one's looking much cleaner so far, and hopefully I won't have to restart again. I've been babysitting the printer for a little bit because sometimes it just needs some cleaning as it's going, or it starts to make mistakes. It doesn't always need that, and sometimes as it goes over a mistake, it'll clean it up. But I felt like I needed to help it along because I didn't want to start it over. And it looks better now. At this point, it's already about 1 millimeter off the ground, or off the bed, so I feel safe enough to leave it on its own. Hopefully it doesn't mess up. I don't think it will though. The computer says it's going to take about 3 hours to finish, or at least that's what it said when I first started the print. But it's always off, like by an hour or an hour and a half, because it calculates all of the movement of the nozzle, but it doesn't calculate the acceleration or deceleration that the machine has to do to switch directions. And so that adds up, even though it's like a millisecond. After doing 1200 movements, those milliseconds add up, and the estimations are always off. But it gives me something to look forward to at least. And it's really hard not to keep going back and looking at it, which is why I normally set it to print and then leave the house, so that when I come back it's already done. Cal just woke up a few minutes ago. Oh, he's seeing himself. I wonder how much detail he can actually see on the phone. Because I know at this point he can see colors, and he can see past the foot. That's you, Cal. That's you. Mommy is over with Nina, because Nina also woke up just a few minutes ago, and she has her sitting on the potty because she didn't pee in her sleep, so we're hoping that we can get her to pee in the potty. Nina's nap today was about 2.5 hours long, and Mommy wanted to know how I got her to sleep that long. I did it by sleeper holding her until she falls asleep.
Myra, tell us about your life hack with her shoes.
Oh, I already mentioned it before, but they're dry now and they're on.
So let's see it.
These are her silicone shoes.
Let's test
she
it
hasn't
out.
tested it yet, though. Let's try walking. Walk! Walk, Nina, walk!
Maybe she wants to try them climbing.
Nina. Nina?
Hi.
No. No?
Hi.
You want to go on the floor? No. No, Nina. There's Nina walking on the shoes, and her little booties, except she's on the carpet, so she wouldn't have slipped anyway. But she did walk over to the wood a couple of times without slipping. Let's see if I can catch her doing that again. Nina, hug Daddy. Ah.
Thanks, Jack.
Success.
Woo-hoo.
Nina wants to play with my Wacom board that's on her right. So she set herself up with the iPad right next to it, making believe she's playing with the iPad. Every once in a while, she'll touch the buttons on the Wacom board. She's trying to be sneaky. Nina, where are your booties?
Booties.
Booties.
Friendly blue dolphin.
Nina's ready for bed. She's not very tired today, but she's cooperating, so it gives me hopes that she's just gonna fall right asleep. Though she had a pretty long nap today. We're gonna read some of her favorite books and also her library books because we have to return them tomorrow. Nina went to sleep rather easily. She did wake up a few minutes ago, but she just had a little more water and pacifier and fell right back to sleep. That's about to finish. That's support material there in the front for the towel. But other than that, it looks pretty clean. And it took about 6 hours to print. Starting the second print, the top half print. And I'm just sitting here for at least the first 3 or 4 layers just to make sure that everything works out. This is the bottom half. It looks pretty good, feels pretty solid. Needs a little bit of cleanup on the bottom, but other than that, it looks really good. I've also dropped the printing speed down to about 66% of its normal speed, at least for the first 3 or 4 layers. I keep saying 3 or 4 layers, but it's really only up to the 3rd right now. Just want to make sure it has a good strong base before I put it back to its normal speed. It seems to be printing much better at this slower rate, so I'm going to leave it at the slower rate, but that means it's going to take a very long time. I might speed it up halfway through and then go back to the slow part or slow bit once it gets to the ear section, because that seems to be delicate, but once it's past the ear I can speed it up again. So right now it says it's going to take 12 hours, which is probably off by 12 hours. But tomorrow morning it should be at least up to the ears, so I'll speed it up again. Good night, Nina.
Good night, Nina.
Good night, cow.
Good night, cow.
Sweet dreams.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.